Hey everybody, it's me, Nicole Rivera from the Stop Writing Alone podcast, and here on the MV Rivera YouTube channel, sharing writing prompts and exercises every week, sort of, for you and I to write 52 stories this whole week. 52 stories in 52 weeks. So I say sort of because I asked my Echo show this morning what number week it was, and she told me it's week 29. And I said, oh no, I know I was behind. I didn't think I was that behind. So this is video number 27. But I will play a little catch up today and bring you 28 and 29. This does not mean that you need to write 3 stories in a week. But I know that there have been videos throughout the year where I've given you multiple prompts. So maybe you are up to 29. Maybe you're nowhere near 29. Last week I asked in a couple of spaces like the Stop Writing Alone Network how people were doing. And I felt like people were, feeling bad that they weren't up to their 26th story. And I was like, wait, no, we are here to write as many stories as we can. The challenge before us, yes, is can we write 52 stories by the end of 52 weeks? But every single time you write one more, you have to know that that's a win, even if you come out of the year with 2 stories, 3 stories. Also, I think we all have a different definition of what it means to write a story. When I say I'm writing 52 stories in 52 weeks, I'm going for drafts, 0 drafts, first drafts. There's no way I could accomplish 52 completely revised and ready to go stories. My brain doesn't work that way. So if that's the challenge that you put before yourself, how many stories, complete, beginning, middle, end, revised, ready to go to share with the world, give yourself some grace on that one. But let's get going. I'm doing all 3 videos of catch up today because I'm actually going to be heading out on a road trip. Going down to Florida with the family, and this always reminds me of the road trips that I used to take when I was younger. Very, very frequently. My dad was a teacher, so we had the similar summers off. We would do the drive down to Disney World, but one of the places that we would stop almost every single time, I guess it was the teacher dad, was Colonial Williamsburg. Who am I kidding? This isn't from teacher dad. My parents were obsessed with antique shopping and everything. So Colonial Williamsburg, if you don't know, is a historical space in Virginia. It was right up their alley. We were there all the time. So I flashed that real quick, but I nearly lost my mind when I found out that Storymatic, there was a special edition for Colonial Williamsburg, because this just tapped into one of my current loves and nostalgia bit for me. It's not an easy one to find. This was actually gifted to me by one of the Stop Writing Alone peeps, because we were all, when we found out it existed, we're all so excited, but it's not in production anymore, so you just have to check eBay and spaces like that to see if it's available. What it is, if the Storymatic box, remember, has character cards and story cards. So you pick 2 character cards to mash together to make your protagonist, and then you pick a story card to drive you into story. It's exactly the same thing, except the cards are from colonial times. The character traits are of people that would have existed. Let's see, do we have a time period on the front here? I'm just wondering if he limited himself to years. It says, step back in time to colonial America with the Colonial Williamsburg edition of Storymatic. Pick a few history-themed cards and watch a story take shape before your eyes. How you tell it is up to you. Write it, draw it, act it, sing it. So, we're going to write it. But what we've loved about this deck in particular, when using it in the Stop Writing Alone community, is that it's really helpful for people who are looking to write something clearly historical fiction, but also lends itself to some fantasy stories. So we use it quite frequently. It's not something that like, oh, I want to write something about colonial America. It does tap into lots of different types of stories. So I just have to remember which one is, okay, yellow is my character card, and blue are my story cards. Indigo? I don't know. Let's get our character. I'm going to pick 2 cards, and I have to stop always picking randomly because I keep getting myself into a situation where I am randomly picking the same thing. Okay, this one has an asterisk. Okay, it says, the first card we have is the only person not afraid to eat a tomato. And then the asterisk says, people once thought they were poisonous. Okay. The second one also has an asterisk. Soothsayer, person who predicts the future. So you're looking for a soothsayer who's unafraid to eat a tomato. Put these 2 together to create your protagonist. This is the person you're writing about. The person who's not afraid to eat a tomato, but also can predict the future. Cool. As you can see, we can go places. And then, I don't know, do we want 1 story card? Do we want 2 story cards? Let's see what we get for the first one. What's going to get us into story? Oh, I'm leaving it with this. Knock on the door at midnight. Yeah, stuff can be done here. Okay, so your protagonist, a person who's not afraid to eat a tomato. Wild. Unafraid to eat tomatoes. How brave. But also a soothsayer. And then what happens to get us into story? There's a knock on the door at midnight. Again, even though this is Colonial Williamsburg, set your story wherever you want. I don't want you to think that you have to go into, a colonial neighborhood to make this happen. If you want to, go for it. But just get a story done. This would be story number 7 if you are checking off all of our prompts and trying to get all of them done. But I will be back to share some more with you. I just had to kick it off with this since I'm in road trip mindset, thinking about all those years visiting Colonial Williamsburg, and it's a great tool. If I can find a link of one that's available, I will put it in the show description, but that would be like definitely a first come first serve situation, because every time we find one, and one more of us gets it. And that's what's been happening. So go reach out to Brian Mooney of the Storymatic fame and tell him you want another Colonial Williamsburg box, and see if he'll put it back in production. Otherwise, happy writing, and I will talk to you, I want to say next week, in a couple of minutes.
It's time to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss another video, and stop writing alone by joining the Mighty Network's Stop Writing Alone network to find your writing peeps today. Also, let's not forget where this all started in the Stop Writing Alone podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts, including this YouTube channel. One more reason to subscribe now.